Hello and welcome to another edition of The Slice. Here on The Slice we talk about everything from ancient alien theory to extraterrestrial visits in the future, past, and current. We also talk about abductions and other interesting items of archaeology and out-of-place artifacts. Make sure you check out Matthew Bauer's site on www.therealmj12eyes-to-the-sky.com. And now let's get on with this week's subject on The Slice. Enjoy the show, folks, and make sure you comment and subscribe. Take care now. Hi, folks. Bill Peters here. We're going to start right off. We're going to look at some vintage. This is all about vintage UFOs throughout time. We're going to start with this clip of a joint military and Disney production. It's just a few clips out of it. You can find it online if you just put in vintage UFO documentary. You should come up with this one. But it gives the gist of it, and then it has the disclaimer at the end where they talk about how it's all real and blah blah blah. So let's take a look at that right now.
On Monday morning, an avalanche of calls from newspapers throughout the nation jammed the trunk lines at the Pentagon. The relentless pressure continued. We admitted radar contacts from the 3 surrounding airfields.
When did the saucers first appear?
9 p.m.
How long were they under observation?
6 hours.
How many were there?
14.
Did the pilots see any details?
No. Interview which appeared in the Washington Times Herald, Lieutenant Patterson, pilot of Red Dog 1, said he concentrated on one of the bright lights, but it outran him. I tried to make contact with the bogies below 1,000 feet, Patterson said. I saw several bright lights. I chased a single bright light. I was at my maximum speed. I ceased chasing it because I saw no chance of overtaking it. Under the insistent demands from the nation's press and the accumulating pressure of the public, the Chief of Staff set up a press conference at the Pentagon. I was present when General Samper spoke for the newsreel cameras.
Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States. In pursuit of this obligation, since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1,000 and 2,000 reports that have come to us from all kinds of sources. However, there have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion with respect to this remaining percentage, and that is that it does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate to any conceivable threat to the United States. We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
When I left the Pentagon that evening, General Samper's words kept running through my mind. Credible observers of relatively incredible things. The theories of the skeptics could not stand up to the actual experiences of high-ranking military personnel, radar experts, airline pilots, and other responsible witnesses referred to by General Samper as credible observers. I started to walk through the streets of Washington, the words remaining with me. Credible observers of relatively incredible things. I recalled when I first joined the project at AMC, how I regarded with disbelief the whole subject of flying saucers. But piece by piece, the evidence had crystallized, until now, in my opinion, there was no doubt as to their existence.
This is the Montana film, projected exactly as it was photographed. The objects are moving against a 25 to 28 mile an hour wind. This is the film in double frame or slow motion. A slight bounce in the movement of the objects as well as the tower is perceptible. This is due to the handheld camera. The film, analyzed frame by frame, shows the movement of the objects to be horizontal and steady.
Analysis reveals that the objects are not balloons, nor any kind of known aircraft. The images are very different from those produced by any kind of birds at any distance. The shape, brightness, speed, rectilinear path, steady motion, and separation rule out various forms of optical atmospheric mirages or cloud reflections.
This is the Utah film as it was originally photographed.
The image structure and maneuvers definitely eliminate any kind of known aircraft.
This is where Chief Photographer Newhouse, in his excitement, changed exposure. He believed that by changing density and giving the film more contrast, he could clarify the objects. The single object that reversed its course. The bounce is due to handheld camera. Now we study the action of one section of the film. We stop the action. We move in.
Within a 5-mile range, aircraft could be determined. In excess of 5 miles, the speeds are greater than aircraft can achieve, except in straight-line speed runs. The movement here follows an elliptical or circular pattern. Microscopic examination reveals that the objects are well focused. Their size varies from 1/6 to 1/10 the size of the moon, as it appears to the naked eye. Their form is circular and sometimes elliptical. This fits the commonly used flying saucer description.
Observe the object in the upper left corner. We move in to study the action. The object upper left will go out of frame on widescreen projection. Observe the motion of the two objects upper right as we rock them back and forth. Now we move over and up on the frame to make a closer study of the object in the upper left corner.
Examine this object closely. Compare it with those objects you saw in the Montana film.
Now the section of the film where photographer Newhouse changed exposure.
Weather conditions, together with the persistence and motion of the formations, eliminate the possibility of atmospheric mirages. photogrammetric experiments have shown that the images cannot be associated with any kind of birds at any distance.
Stop. Now forward again. Stop. We drop back to original perspective. Now once again, and for the last time, the Utah film.
The objects cannot be associated with any known balloon observations.
The motion picture you have just seen is authentic. It is substantiated by documentation, eyewitness accounts supported by affidavits, and official government reports. The evidence has been presented to you with integrity and objectivity to establish the fact that unidentified flying objects, commonly known as flying saucers, do exist. Some kind of flying objects have been photographed in the sky. If they cannot be identified as objects known to man, what are they? If they are not man-made, who made them? If they are not from this planet, where are they from?
Okay, well, that was interesting, right? A little bit. Okay, well, let's take a look at some actual stills throughout time. And first we get this little clip of a pretty old clip, and then we'll go into the pictures and I'll pick back up. So let's look at that now. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing on our list is this little tidbit. In Poland in 1947, we have this bad boy. Interesting. And then in Illinois in 1950, we have this one. It's pretty interesting as well. And then, of course, in Oregon, we had in 1950 as well this sighting. And, of course, in 1951 in Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock, Texas is the scene of a lot of stuff. Okay, so in Brazil in 1952, Massachusetts, Salem, Mass, 1952 as well. Nice triangular craft. And then in New Jersey, in 1952, we got a partial. That's interesting. 1954. Must have been skipping right along. So from there in Belgium in 1955. How about that? And of course in 1956, South Africa. Very interesting. Off the USS Ramsey in 1957. I believe that's a recovered craft, actually. In California, 1957. A little sideways action. Okay. And for some reason, that slide repeated. So, then in 1957 as well, in New Mexico, we have this bad boy. And also, in 1957, we have this from the U.S. Air Force in California. And in 1958, Trinidad. This little. In 1960, Kenya. Taipei. Okay, California, 1965. Some of these may not be real, obviously. 1963 in Oklahoma. That's pretty. And in 1966 in Michigan, we have the hamburger. And then along in 1966 in Michigan, beautiful. And this one in 1966 in New York, in one of the parks. I thought that was kind of cool. 1967, Rhode Island. I'm not so sure about that, maybe. I don't know. Ohio, 1967. One wonders if maybe these weren't experimenters. 1967 was a big year in Kansas as well. And in 1967 in Ohio, we had another beautiful thing. I try to keep these in chronological order. In New Jersey as well. 67 was a hot year for this stuff. 1970. This could be a human experimenter, actually. 1971, Arkansas. Yeah, very nice. And Austria, 1971. Okay, so now we have in April 1972, Apollo 16, showing that light in the upper right from 73. Okay, so Mexico in November of 73. Of course, Mexico's always been a hot spot. This is a close-up of that same object. Interesting. I've seen this many, many times before. In November of 74, in, I believe, Denmark, you have the jellyfish UFO. And then the Billy Myers pictures that they claim are fake. Uruguay, 1977. And then we got a, right into a 1977 from Hamburg, Germany, I believe. And Wisconsin in 1978. And also in 1978 in Spain, Barcelona. Get these. Nice lights. Finland, 1979. New Zealand, 79. 67 to 79. Okay, California, 1980. Vancouver, Canada, 82. Very nice. There is a seemingly consistency to this. Argentina in 81. Nice. Connecticut, 87. Awesome. Look at this one from Florida in 87. Crazy. Wonder what he's up to. And then we have Puerto Rico in 1988. Puerto Rico is a pretty good hot spot as well. Flyby. I'm not sure what we're looking at in 88. California. I know it's a glider. Tennessee, 1989. Look at that bad boy. She's pretty. Los Angeles, 91. There is a common shape, common threads. 91 in Pueblo, Mexico. Nice. Puebla, I'm sorry. Okay, Mexico as well, 92. That would get my attention. 1992 as well, Mexico City. Seems to be consistent. Idaho looks just like it. 93, I'm sorry. So we have a common thread here. In 95, we have this one from Bangladesh, I believe, Saskatchewan. 1996. Don't think they knew that was happening. California in 96. Very interesting stuff. And in October 99, we get this bad boy just glowing up a storm. 99 as well. Some of these seem in Budapest. Look at this in 2011. 2001, I'm sorry. 2002 in England. Nice. You see the 10-year splits? It's interesting. Iceland, 2003. Washington, 2003. What is going on? This is 2003, Mexico. See how the clusters and the dates, and the clusters where they're at? 2004, that's a very similar light with the blank spot on the side like we saw before. 2004. Yep, that's crazy. I like this one. This is from Wisconsin in 2004 as well. Maybe fake, I don't know. Finland, 2004. So there seems to be a pattern of some sort. Utah, 2004, Zion National Park, even. And in 2004 as well, we have the Hawaiian sighting. Actually, I remember that was a bit of a turmoil. 2005, somebody grabbed this, which could be a couple of things, may not be extraterrestrial. California in 2005. That I have no explanation for. All right, so Arkansas, 2005. That's about the year I saw mine. 2005, England, Devon, England, North Devon, England. Yeah. And 2005 as well. That's very intricate, that one there. And here we have one from Puerto Rico in 2005 as well. Seems to be something going on that year. And Puerto Rico again. So you see a pattern here, folks. 2005 as well. And that's in Jersey City. Look at that bad boy. And that's it. And so there we have it. The complete package, folks. Some of these were probably fake. Some of them may have been inventions of garage inventors. There's a lot of people out there. Rich people, maybe. But, you got to make your own determination on some of these. Some are definitely out of this world. I mean, you can't deny that that's been going on either. So, as always, do your research, and thanks for watching The Slice. Take care. Okay, folks, that sums up another edition of The Slice with your host, Bill Peters, contributing to this wonderful episode were several of you in the Ancient Alien Theory group. I'd like to thank you all. And don't forget, check out the real MJ12 eyes-to-the-sky.com. That's right. And Happy Vowels will take you on a journey that you won't soon forget. Don't forget. Kimberly Wright and her every Friday during the Ancient Alien Show. She has her live chat. And Clarence Mitchell at his Blog Talk Radio. Check it out, folks. See you next time on The Slice.